baseball team. And Johnny Mai, the Hall of Fame baseball player, his nickname is the Big Cat. You can look it up.
Well, maybe I.
It's a great day to be. Yeah, it is football season, but by golly, it's baseball season. What a great time of the year for baseball. And we have a baseball theme today. Jake Krupar being our guest speaker. I'm truly honored to be able to introduce him today because he was a former player, one of the great players that we have in Central County. Jake grew up in East Sparta, son of Tom and Terry Krupar, who are here today. He played baseball for his father in the early years, one of his first coaches. And then Jake came to Central Catholic to play baseball. Played for us for 4 years, and he had a stellar career, an outstanding career. In Jake's sophomore year, he broke the school record for home runs in a season of 9 and led the county in home runs with 9 as sophomore. 2011, sophomore year, we were able to celebrate a state championship together, Division III state championship. Outstanding. Jake had a great career for us as an outfielder and a pitcher. And at the end of his senior year, he was chosen to be one of the top 20 senior baseball players in Ohio to play for Team Ohio in Norman, Oklahoma. Jake's outstanding high school career earned him a scholarship in baseball, Division I, at the University of Toledo in the Mid-American Conference. And the Mid-American Conference is one of the great baseball conferences in the country. He had an outstanding career, playing 4 years for the Rockets. And 3 of those 4 years, the Rockets made the Mid-American Conference tournament playoffs. So he had a great career at Toledo as well. Following his time at Toledo, Jake went to Muskingum University to be a graduate assistant, to get his master's degree, and that really started his baseball coaching career. Because when you're a graduate assistant, you do about everything. So he served as a graduate assistant at Muskingum University, where he got his master's degree. Then from there, he became an assistant Division I college baseball coach at Wofford University. And then he became an assistant assistant Division baseball coach at Butler University in Indianapolis, Indiana. In the 2023 season, he was named the head baseball coach at Muskingum University. And I believe he was the youngest college baseball coach in the country, age 27. Jake is 31 years old right now and is beginning his 4th season as the head baseball coach at Muskingum. 3 years, they have won 20 games each year, topped off by last year in 2025, tying the school record for wins in a season of 28. So in his 3 short years there, the Muskie program is becoming a force. We're in the Ohio Athletic Conference, which I feel in every sport, the Ohio Athletic Conference is the toughest Division III athletic conference in the country. I said 28 victories, and the age 31, starting his 4th year. Excuse me. Something I'd like to say, well, why do you coach? And when you coach so long, what's great about coaching? Jake and I were able to celebrate a state championship together. Right over there, Jake's mom, Terry Krupar, Terry Miller. My first head coaching job at Central was not baseball. I was a girls basketball coach when I was a young kid. I had all my hair and all my teeth. And didn't know too much about what I was doing, but on her freshman year, state runner-up in basketball, state championship in baseball. So you want to know what makes a good coach? Great players. Before I bring Jake up here, we could have a team today. Sam Berkwin is a great pitcher for me at Central. John Mazzarelli, one of the great players, catcher for me at Central. Jake was an outfielder, so we got a pitcher, a catcher, and an outfielder. Richard Regulus' son, Thomas, was the second baseman on our state championship team. So that's 4 players. Well, we have a pretty doggone good team. But what I'm trying to say is that's where your rewards and coaching come from. The relationship you make with your players. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Jake Krupar, head baseball coach at Muskegon University.
Appreciate everybody. Thank you for having me out today. It's an honor. It's an honor to be back here. It's an honor to be back in Kansas, Ohio, where I grew up. I play at Toledo and go to places and coach in South Carolina and Indianapolis. And, after about 10 minutes of having a conversation with you for the first time, I usually bring up things. It usually comes up in conversation. When I coached in South Carolina, my nickname was Rust. That was my nickname. Because I'm very proud of where I came from. Very proud of where I came from. My dad's family's from the Oberlin, Ohio area, and on the Miller side, my mom's family was right there in Kansas. My grandfather, Stanley Miller, for the Stanley Miller Construction Company. So I've had work ethic and character and all the things that you can imagine bring to me day one. Very grateful to be back here in a place like that. So I guess we'll start from the beginning. I mean, I went to high school at Kent Central Catholic, played baseball for Coach Miller, played football for Old Kleinfelder. 2 legends. I mean, not many kids can say that, but they played for 2 legends, and I got to play for both. Both were very different coaching styles, but both made me a better person. Not only a better athlete, but maybe a better person. We were lucky enough to win the state tournament my sophomore year of high school. If you look at that roster, of the seniors specifically, there were 0 Division I baseball, right? But the best leaders you could ever ask for, right? They held us accountable. It was a very, very player-led program, and that's what I think Coach Miller taught me, especially now getting into coaching. That you set the example from the top, you hold the standard, you let your players coach themselves. And that's why we were good. I think if you were to ask any team that played us that year in 2011, right, were we the Kent Central Catholic the most talented team that played all year? They would say no. All right, but what we were good at, we played for each other. We were tough. And we played the game the right way. We wore the pinstripe uniforms, the bent bills. We had to have our socks up, clean shaven, not like I am when I was first. But we looked the part, but we played hard and we played tough. But more importantly, we played for each other. And I think that's why we ended up having such a great season. My fondest memories of baseball. Then I got lucky enough to get a Division I baseball scholarship to go play for the University of Toledo. My experience there was we made the MAC tournament 3 out of my 4 years. Me personally, I had a lot of up and downs with college baseball, which is why I feel like I can relate to players in any stage of their career. I was very successful sometimes. I was also at the lowest of lows sometimes. So I think when you get into coaching, you have to be able to put people common ground. I've struggled, I've been successful, and everywhere in between. So I'm very grateful for that experience during that time. I initially went to college to be a criminal justice major. So I actually wanted to get into law enforcement. Now I'm coaching college baseball, so I just want to take some other efforts. But so I decided I wanted to get into coaching. Really the big push was from my college baseball coach, Corey Dean. I was meeting with him in his office one day about something completely unrelated. told me, Jake, I think you make a phenomenal coach. That time I didn't understand. But so with that push, I kind of decided that's what I wanted to get into. So when I graduated from Toledo, my first coaching job was actually as a volunteer assistant at Bolton Bowlers Center. Same conference, the Highlight Park Conference. And it was great. It was phenomenal for me. I worked from 7 in the morning to about noon for my uncle to run steel mill construction. So I worked construction for about 5 hours in the morning, and in the afternoon I drove an hour to Berea every day. Coached baseball, did lessons until 9 or 10 at night to make some extra money. Get home, do it all over. It was, I think that would have turned a lot of people away, but I knew when I first went to doing it, I was going to do it. So did that for 1 year. Had a phenomenal experience. Don't know the name Brian Harrison. Look him up. He's the head baseball coach up at PW. He's turned into a phenomenal friend of mine, a mentor of mine. He runs an elite level program. I learned to listen. Right? When you get into things and you're young, I feel like, at least that's what I would feel. You feel like you know everything, right? When you show up and it's the first day, I had to take a step back and say, I have no idea what's going on. I have to listen. So I learned to listen. That's really where I learned to listen. I think when I look back at where I've come from to where I'm at now, I feel like every year I've learned something new and different about the stop sign. That was the biggest thing at Golden Home. I learned to listen, I learned to communicate, and I learned to, look out for the interests of other people. So then, going on from there, I got into the master's program in education at Muskingum University. So I went down to Muskingum to be a graduate assistant in my master's degree. So going from an elite level program in Baldwin Wallace, who at the time Muskingum was not, they were the exact opposite. Right? It was a program that had struggled for years, retaining kids, keeping them at school. We had academic issues, we had character issues. It was a very wide-open experience. So really at that time, our goal was to recruit high-character individuals. We wanted better people in our program, right? Talent aside, you have to have some level of talent, but we weren't able to get the top end of talent. So we said, we're going to get the best kids possible and build it, which I feel like we did a great job. So for 2 years I was at Muskingum as a graduate assistant. We didn't win a whole lot of games, right? Go back and look at those records, not going to wow you at all. But what we are able to do now is because of those teams. They laid the cultural foundation for what we were able to build off the past. We weren't talented, but we had phenomenal kids. I'm talking tough kids. They were fist fight mentality, tough type of kids. You picked on one of them, you picked on all of them. All right? They got good grades in the classroom, went out big community service. These are the same guys that come back to our alumni games. They bring the babies to them. All right? Our guys get to see that. They get to see that they're successful people out in their profession, leaders in their communities. So they set a really good example for our current players. So if you look at some of the best relationships I personally have with former players, a lot of them are from those 28 to 20 things. Because those guys showed up and they worked with us every season. So, anyways, I was there for 2 years at the Stinging, and then I moved on after I got my master's. Coached 1 year at Wofford College, which is a very small liberal arts school in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And that was a very big rude awakening for me. It was very well run. The head coach at the time, his name was Todd Donato. He's now the head baseball coach at Boston College. One of the better baseball minds I've ever been around. And that program was run like a well-oiled machine. We were disciplined, we were fast, we played ball, we played the defense, we communicated, we fun it, we stole bases. Very fun baseball program to deal with. It was the first program that I've been around that truly had my identity, right? Like, the players knew exactly what style of baseball we played. They knew the lingo that we talked. They weren't afraid to come in and ask questions about things. It was a phenomenally well-run program. And it made me look at the game of baseball in a totally different way. I'd always kind of, up until that point, more so saw the game like I was still a player. And when I went to Wofford, it totally flipped. not have that stop, I don't think I can drive a lot. I'm very grateful for my time so far. We were able to win the Southern Conference regular season championship, which is the first time that Wofford has ever done that in baseball. We had 2 players drafted. One's currently still playing in the Mariners organization. So surrounded by phenomenal people. Very, very but I went from Muskingum to Wofford. I was making a little bit of money, to making $0 at Wofford College. Volunteer director of play. Which is a fancy title for aortic. Yeah. They let me coach the outfielders a little bit. They let me work with the hitters, but that was good stuff, operational stuff that I needed to do to gain experience at in order to be a head coach. So, anyways, spent 1 year at Wofford, and then moved on to Butler University, over in Indianapolis. But, think about when you do basketball, right? Phenomenal basketball school, tradition. If you ever seen the movie Hoosiers, they filmed Hoosiers at Tinker Fieldhouse, the Butler basketball players, all their home games. So, was very grateful to go to Butler. I worked for a man named Dave Stray. Dave he's retired. He's a 40-year Division I head coach. Head stopped at Northern Illinois, Evansville. He's the head coach at Notre Dame. So I got to work for a guy that had coached at the highest level. The thing that I took away from Butler was ownership. So when I got the job, my job was I coached the hitters, I coached the base runners, and I was responsible for running all of our teams. And within my first week in the job, I'm working, getting some work done on my laptop. Coach Greg walks in my office and tells me to do that. Usually when the boss calls me, I'm a little nervous. The first thing he says to me is, "What's your goal, coach? First, what's your goal?" I kind of gave him one round. What do you want to do? I want to be a head coach. He said, "Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You are going to be by my side during games. You need to basically ask questions throughout the game. You need to question every decision I make, or question every decision I don't." But hearing that from a guy who coached literally at Notre Dame was crazy. I felt like you should be questioning me. I shouldn't be questioning you. All right? But it was an incredible growth opportunity for me, and I'm very, very, very grateful. Right? Whether we ran a play, we didn't run a play, we made a sub, we didn't make a sub, I was there to ask questions. I was there to give a response. I kind of formulate my own opinion on how maybe I'll run a play. But it was a lot of work. I mean, from ordering buses to ordering food to scheduling hotels, booking out all the rooms, coaching our hitters, coaching our base runners, doing on-campus business. It was a lot, but it's what I needed. To build not only some accountability and responsibility, but again to get the experience. So, anyways, that leads us back to Muskingum. So I spent that 1 year at Butler. To be very, very frank, I was not looking to leave. I was very happy there. I enjoyed my job. I enjoyed what I got to work for. And then this position opened up. It was pretty much open. Number one reason being, you can win it. I'm the sucker with the reason. You can win at Muskingum. Not just a little bit, a lot of it. That was the goal when I took back over. We want to be a regional contending team every single year. Right? So now you have to look at how to build that. Because historically, just being as black and white as possible, Muskingum's not very good. They don't really have any tradition. The last consistent winning team in the program happened to be back on that job. But anyway, so took over in the summer of 2022. The first thing that we looked at was not the baseball stuff. The first thing that we looked at was what are our expectations of our players? What type of players are we bringing into our program? What about the academic side? Because that is what you do for the college education. Right? So we set very high standards for the class. Our team PA goal every semester is 3.2 or above. Reason being, we want people who want to do well in about, is it a priority for you, right? And that's what we want to start with. Is, are your priorities in the right place? Because if they are, then you can come play, all right? And let's face it, Muskingum is in New Concord, Ohio. If anybody's been down there, pass through town in about 5 minutes, all right? You want 10 to 15 bars and restaurants at your disposal, they're not the place for it, all right? It's a safe, welcoming community. You can focus on academics, you can focus on school, you can focus on baseball and your relationships. So that's what we were very brutally honest during the recruiting process, because we want our recruits to know what our expectations are and what type of kid is coming. So that was number one. Classroom stuff had to be number one. Number two, character side of things. Right? So not wearing pajama pants, right? I mean, that drives me crazy. So look presentable when you go to class, sit in the first 2 rows, be attentive, go to class, right? Basic level expectations. And then community service. That was the big thing for us. We never really got involved in the community there when I was consistent. Over the last 3 years, our team has put in over 600 hours in the community, whether it's in Concord, Cambridge, or Zanesville. We go out, we work with elementary schools, we go ring the bells for Salvation Army. We're part of, there's a recreational committee in town. We go clean business windows on the business. We go rake clean from the yard. A little bit of everything. But the main reason is we don't coach. This is going to sound crazy. We don't coach to win games. Right? It's a byproduct. Winning games is a byproduct. We coach to develop young men. We coach to develop youth. Right? Help them become the best version of themselves. Become a servant leader. That's what we want. We want guys to go out and be great husbands, great fathers, great what they do professionally, of course, to be great leaders in their community. That's why we do what we do. And so community service had to be the place that we started. All right, go care about somebody other than yourself. Go get your hands dirty a little bit. Give back to people around you. We go to the elementary school. That's my favorite one. We go to the elementary school. We work with the little kids. We read to them. We play games. We help with the ball. I tell our guys all the time. You don't know where kids come from. You don't know if this is the only time they're going to smile at you. Right? So we don't take these opportunities lightly. We want to get our hands involved in the community and simply help other people because it's the right thing to do, not because it looks good on the resume. It's the right thing. That was where we wanted to start, and then the baseball stuff all came out. Right? I'm a true believer that character, on the character side of things, the academic side of things, we can handle those things and do those things the right way. Stuff on the field is going to follow. All right, so when we look at the baseball side of things, coach was exactly right in what he said. What makes a good coach is good coach. All right, it's not X's and O's, give me and Joe. Okay, so we need to recruit at a higher level, and we started to do that. And we did not want to sacrifice one or the other. We didn't want to sacrifice character for baseball. All right, we didn't want to sacrifice baseball for character. And that's why we've been able to sustain success over the last 3 years. Because we have some pretty dang good baseball players. We have some better people. It makes showing up to the ballpark fun. I don't drag my feet to get out of work in the morning because we have phenomenal kids. They play the game the right way. They play the game for each other. That's why we've been able to win the baseball. So that's where we're at today. We just came off the best season we've had since about 30 years, 28, 12 this past year. It was a good year. We're taking good steps in the right direction. Something that our players are probably sick of hearing me say, but it's my favorite quote. You either think you're climbing up the mountain or you're that's our mindset within our program. I keep taking baby steps up the mountain every single day. No matter how good of a day you have the day before, how bad of a day. There's going to be some days where you're dragging 3 or 4 other people up that mountain with you. There's going to be some days where you got 3, 4, 5 people dragging you up. That's what the team is for. We're going to look out for each other. All right? We're going to protect the people that we love. Because again, winning baseball games is great, but it doesn't mean anything to be out of the stadium after 4 years. Not equipped to be a good father. Not equipped to be a good leader. Those are the things that we want to instill into our players. All right, more than anything else, those are the things that we want to instill into our players. So, very grateful for my time at the center. It has taught me a ton. Being a Division III school, we can't offer athletic scholarships, right? So, in my opinion, the NCAA Division III level is the most pure level of any level in college athletics. We're not paying kids to come here. They're coming in the stadium because they feel like it's the best fit for them to get a college education, and they feel like it's the best fit on the coaching staff program how to train for baseball. It's a very pure level. They're here for the right reason. We don't deal with, I'm very lucky, we don't deal with selfish. I don't deal with kids who want to show up, be part of something bigger than themselves. We're very lucky in that aspect. But it's a great league. If you've never gone out and watched a Ohio Athletic Conference baseball game, go do it. The talent is phenomenal, right? And the talent, the fundamentals, there's no bad coaching. And it makes it tough to coach in this league because of that. But I'm very grateful because it challenged me professionally, challenged our coaching staff. Something that we don't take for granted because we get to play against the best of the best. I think multiple sports in my conference play the same thing, right? Football, basketball, baseball, track and field, cross country, next go down the list, the Ohio Athletic Conference, one of the top around the country. For us to take the strides that we've been taking in one of, if not the best Division II baseball conference around, makes me really proud. It makes me really proud, especially considering when I first started at the season, we could barely win it. Right? But it's all about the people. There's one thing that I know, it is all about the people that come into your program, not only the people in your program, but the people surrounding you, families, travel. So it seems like every single game that we go to, playing February 28th in Virginia, and it's 35 degrees snowing, we have 20, 30 parents sitting behind one plate. But that matters. That matters to us. A sports information director who, are severely underpaid and come to every single home game, stat, do the announcement, do the play-by-play. Our athletic director, our assistant athletic director, the people that are around the program just as much as the people that are in the program. And I feel like that's why we've been able to succeed. Again, not because of coaching, because of really good people. Right? That's the lesson I have learned at the swing today. It's about people. It's about resiliency, being tough. Right? Because you have to be tough to play in this league. You have to be tough to play college sports. Right? You have to be resilient. One thing, I'm a self-proclaimed guys. We have a lot of Cincinnati Reds fans. We have a lot of Pittsburgh Pirates fans. I'm a huge Cleveland. I support the Cleveland Guardians. All right? I'm a huge Cleveland sports fan. One thing I love about this current team is that the word resilient comes up a lot. When you hear Stephen Vogt talk, he says the word resilient. Right? And that's what I want my program. That's what we want our program. Right? Because at our program, we don't have the 6'4" kids that are all beefed up and hit a bunch of home runs. But if you look at our roster, we have a bunch of guys that are maybe a little bit undersized, right? But they're fast. They play the game right. Play good. Fundamental. And so we're not going to win games 10-8. We're going to win games 5-4, whatever it is. So again, it's taught me to be resilient. It's taught me to be tough. We don't have a lot of the resources that some of the other bigger schools do. But it's not an excuse. Go find a way to get it done. Go fundraise. Go out and figure out a way to make it work. A lot of that does happen. Like parents volunteering to feed our guys after games. Alums come back. We have a couple of alumni that, hey, what do you need this year? Like, you need baseball. This. Again, it's not just about what we're doing. It's about everybody else around it. It's taught me to be grateful, number one. It's taught me to be tough. It's taught me to be resilient. But most importantly, it's about again, Coach Miller, I get to work with him every single day. He was my high school baseball coach, and I get to work with him every single day. And the coach won't tell you he retired, right? I remember my mom sent me the article, can't forget it. And I was reading the article, and I get a call. Coach Miller, we're on the phone, and he's talking about how he's always wanted to be a college bench coach. And I said, Coach, this is the way of asking. Coach, you're say no to 790 career wins in the dugout. So having him with me along in this journey, it means the world to me. Two Canton guys, coaching down in the Concord, trying to get the program right, making the right direction. I couldn't do it. Anyways, I could sit here and ramble for a lot more time. I wish you guys everybody, but I just want to say thank you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to come back here to Canton, from where my roots are, speak with everybody here. Thank you very much. We got questions? Go ahead and do that. Really, the main thing is resources. At a bigger school, you have a lot more resources. Stay in the nice hotels, take the nice place. We don't have that luxury enough. So we're finding a way to be creative with not only the budget, fundraising, not making it too taxing on the players. That was the main challenge right away. But then also we're coming from programs that have some established, right? Like just continuity. You come into a program that's needed basically every element of it. So setting a standard, holding the standard, and getting people in the door. I want to see the standard and buy into it, right? Not because it's of me, but because it benefits them. That was the biggest challenge. Yes, so Mount Union, Golden Wallace, Heidelberg, Hanover, Capital, Otterbein, Burlington, and Marietta. John Carroll was in it. They just stopped doing it. So I would say one guy that comes to walk outside. Dude, I take one walk we brought in two bigger classes. They're around first year and fifth year. Upcoming classes for global even if I go watch a player who I think is probably a Division I baseball player, I'm still going to. Looking at our roster currently, we have two guys who are not out. We saw them out playing, and we thought probably going to get the first to go to a higher position, but that's my our independent. It's crazy. It's a whole new world. At our level, we don't deal with any of those things as much, but at the higher level, it's every single program. I think we've opened the can of worms. Right now, regulations on in fact, I'm not even that far removed from playing, but I went to school. Hey, let's come to that. This is not the way things work now at the highest high level, Power 5, Power 4 competition. They don't really recruiting. Basically, if someone goes to a smaller school, they have a great year, but not paying money to go there. So at the end of the day, I think personally make the richer teams richer. Really, really good. So it's in a tough spot. I think it's in a spot. 5 years ago.
And you and
Yes, we have actually East Canton. We have East Canton kid, Holly Slater, high school athlete. With Ethan Forrest from Malvern High School. We have a couple with Norwayne kids. We have a Northwestern High School kid. Tryway with Tryway, first baseman. Yeah, yeah. That's it for the general area. Yeah, every year we're trying to bring it to. So it is talking about NIL, like paying players. Yeah, so no, there's not really many rules. Schools can have collectives for them, and then players have to go outside and sign for them. If you're a high-level athlete, skater, I I actually agree with everything. Um, I think we're missing. I do get both sides of it. I understand both sides of it. But, where that line is for professional and amateurism. I think from a soapbox standpoint, I think college is about getting an education, continuing to play the sport that you love, figure out who you are, right, as a person, right, area for life after sport, right? You only get to like, realistically, you don't have 4 years of your sport. You have the rest of your life after that. The college is about building that skill set for you to be able to handle life after that. I think we've lost the railroad on that. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. We're really missing the line. I think all the work that goes into it. When you're a player, you just show up and you're like, oh, okay, great, everything's set up, and this is great. I mean, there's accounting reports, there's shooting, you have to order beer, you have to order food, you have to order buses, hotels. There's a lot that goes into it. That was probably the main thing. But I think the more important thing was seeing how much time you have to invest. All right, that's why we're in this business for people. Right, so it's not just the stuff, it's not the operational stuff, it's not the getting to know each guy one-on-one. What makes them them. That was the biggest adjustment for me. Was to show up and you think it's all just about game planning. It's not. It's the other way around. Getting to know people for who they are, and you can actually help them. I don't know if it's baseball field, but in the classroom, especially in life, trying to prepare them for everything. So that was the biggest adjustment. It's been the most rewarding. Well, no D1s have called yet. So, yeah, no, balance is a huge priority. I think a lot of when I first get into coaching, you're go go go. 100% of the time. I met my wife at school. She's a soccer player. She went to law school. Way out of it. So, way more athletic than I am. So, we were both really busy the first couple of years out of college, doing law school. And then when we finally got married, we got all this time that I would have been at the office. Now it's like, no, let's go do things together. So, yes, there's a massive life and coach needed to place for on balance. Because it can really, really, really run likes it. So like, it's not like the end all be all. Like, so if I get home and I'm still wearing it a little bit from loss or something, usually. Not currently. We have in the past. It's always been, at least in my experience with football. It's not because we choose them or we make them do. Absolutely. A catcher, Alex Grove, one of the best leaders I've ever been around. And, I was after high school. That Joey Tan, the reason we went to state that year is just, I mean, rubber arm through every game for us pretty much. Joey Tan and Thomas Regula at second base. We filled that hole. Once he got solidified at second base, Matthew Stump at third base. He's actually our leading hitter and he hit seventh. Ryan Pack in left field, Tyler Grimer in right field, yeah, still keep in touch with those guys to this day. Yeah, still keep in touch. Yeah. It's hard not to. It's hard not to. So our last day this fall will be within that time to get one day the last week to put down the field. Our official season starts up the game. We go down south. We do play JV schedule. We do not have to do everything together. We do have 50 guys in the roster, but it seems like a lot. Kind of is a lot, but it's actually very, very, very half of those guys. It's like Tom Hamilton. Do you think you have enough pitching to go get yeah, 50 guys in the roster. We usually play 8 to 10 games. Yeah. Historically in our conference, Coach Sally was a long time coach there. Basically built that program around we actually got 50. Coach Brian Brewer is there now. Phenomenal job. So that's a very other college. Statistics. not all of them came out of the first half. Currently, we have one pitcher who we've got calls about potential getting signed. It's a classic case of behavior. Actually, putting it out there. Throwing 82 miles an hour when we signed him. It's just simply because he's a great kid and works his butt off. But we have to see how this goes. He has really good years. That was my first coach. What did I learn from that? Not to put temper tantrums, but to put back down. For those of you that don't know, I played hot stove baseball growing up. Right? Oh. So a little bit, yeah. It was big when I was growing up. I had the best time growing up playing hot stove. There's actually 2 fields in Canton Township that we played on. Like I literally live a hop and skip. So anytime that like I would goof off at practice or mouth back off to him, yeah. But no, I mean playing for you, Coach Wilson, coaching up, getting up. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is my joy and love for the game. Really, really, really. They do a great job. And to be honest with you, I don't know if I have any original ideas. One of those goes back to students. We're trying to do the best level of action possible. The size of it, I really like to say that. We're trying to do some we actually get progress reports sent to us every 2 weeks. So I have to track all the Thursdays every 2 weeks. We also have our guys, incoming freshmen, meet with me in my office once a week. We get a calendar, a schedule, with all this stuff. Other games on a campus, and it's discovering all of it. Try and help them stay good. Pretty much every single round of you name it. I was the yard organizer at one point. I was the gopher a lot. I would drive things back and forth, fill up equipment, bring equipment to job sites, help out on job sites. I was a lot of Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for the message. Like that. I enjoyed it. It was good. It's good.